Laura the Library Lady, and welcome to today's episode. Today I will be talking about the book, The Greedy Python. This book is by Richard Burkley and is illustrated by Eric Carle. It's a wonderful book for young children ages 2 to 6 because of its size. Now, when you as parents are reading with your children, make sure you teach your children how to take care of the books, because this is not a board book, and this book could be easily torn and you don't want it to be written in. And this is a book that can last for years if it's cared for. So let's jump right in, because this book teaches a very good lesson about being greedy. And this is something that many young children and probably adults need to learn about. So let's see what Eric Carle and Mr. Richard Burkley talk about being greedy. And a python is a very big snake. You can also talk about snakes and habitats when you're talking with your children about this book. Half hidden in the jungle green, the biggest snake there's ever been, wound back and forth and in between. Don't you love this? Because that last sentence, wound back and forth and in between. You can talk about those words with your children. Those are all directional terms. What does it mean to be wound up? What does it mean to go back and forth? So see how you can just take one page and talk about things to increase their vocabulary. Also, if your children haven't learned their colors yet, this is green. Leaves are green, and some snakes are green. And one thing I've learned about with dealing with animals, they always have camouflage, or they blend in with nature. That's the way they protect themselves from predators. Now that's a big word for little ones, but since we have a snake eating other animals, that may be appropriate at this time. So I'm going to turn the page. The giant snake was very strong and very, very, very long. He had a monstrous appetite. His stomach stretched from left to right. So once again, the word usage here is very important. For a very young child, monstrous, that's a big word. But see, we see how long this snake is. We see his big mouth, and he says, and he has an appetite. That's another big word for a little one. But everyone can relate to being hungry. And then he talks about his stomach. So you can talk about, what is the stomach? What does the stomach do? So you're talking science, you're talking biology, and it's stretch. What does it mean to stretch? And from left to right. So directional terms are being used again. So the first time you read this book, you may not point out all of these things, but young children like books read to them over and over again. So each time you read the book with your child, you can bring out something else. So let me read another page. Oh, this is a fun page. He quickly gobbled in one bite whatever creature came in sight. A mouse that scampered to and fro, a frog that jumped up from below, a bat that hung from his left toe, a fish that swam a bit too slow, a bird that flew a bit too low. So once again, he's using rhyming, which young people love, but he's using nice words. Scampered, that's a big word. You could talk about what does that mean. He's using directional terms again, below, left, slow, low. So all of these words work together. And we have Eric Carle's artwork. You know, he loves to use collage, and so you can point out each of the colors, and you can talk about the type of animals. This is a mouse, this is a frog, this is a fish, this is a bird, this is a bat. And how is a bat different from a bird? So there are all kinds of ways that you can expand your time with your child. Now that's all I'm going to read for today, because the snake does eat so many animals, but you have to read this book with your child to figure out what happens to all of these animals and what happens to this very greedy python. I wish I could tell you, but I think you'll enjoy reading it for yourself. Please know that you can get this book on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and you know my spot, that's right, the public library, where you can get these books free of charge. Please check them out, read them with your child, and happy reading!